Right, so thank you guys for coming. Not everybody was able to make it tonight, but hopefully they can watch the video and have any questions answered, as well as I'm happy to meet with anybody for any questions beyond that. But we are really excited for Fuge this year. So, if you are that, I should have reached out to you. If you don't know what you owe, let me know. But everybody, including those who weren't able to make the fundraiser and those who don't go to our church on Sundays, is saving some money. So so I should have reached out to all of you guys. Does anybody have any questions about what they owe at all? Cameron, do you have any questions? No. I make bad dad jokes. All of your teens know this very well. So.
Yeah.
Especially the BE folks.
I just started this year.
I like that look. All right, so you guys have gotten some forms. There's kind of a packet, the Dwell parent packet, that has a lot of the details. Just kind of, this is generic to Fuge. I'm sorry it printed weird, so apologies for that. So if I had time, I would have fixed it, but it was just running late with everything today. But I can email you it, so if it's too impossible to figure it out. But and go through that. There's a lot of the details you'll need to know, as well as the form, the personal information form. These are not the only forms you'll have. There is going to be, I'll get to this more with COVID, there will be right before Fuge, there is a 24-hour before a Fuge like COVID health inventory thing that you'll need to fill out. And I think it's easier if your kid has been vaccinated. I know, again, it's your guys' all decision, but I know it's available to, I think everybody who's going to Fuge by now can technically
I
get.
can't.
Okay, you can't. So yeah, I think you're the youngest going to Fuge, but I mean, it's your guys' choice again. But just be aware of that. So, but these forms will need to be notarized. Miss Judy sometimes comes to these. She's not available today, but you guys can. I'm sure Judy's happy to sit down with you and notarize for free, or you can go whoever you want to notarize. Maybe you can become a notary yourself if you want to. So. You know, that's a lot of work, but I don't know. So anyway, then do you want to go over the modesty policy, Ms. Sandy?
Okay, so in the packet...
Can you be in front of the screen?
Oh, yes. Okay, so in the packet, they'll have like the dress code. It's the same as it's been in the years past. Basically, fingertips. We don't want to see any underclothes. Keep in mind the kind of work that we'll be doing. I will say pack extra clothes because sometimes we get really gross and sweaty and it's nice to have extras. And then swimsuits, one piece. If you have a two piece, you have to have dark clothing over top. Basically, we're just going for whatever's modest and trying to fit whatever they've asked us to do as far as that. Closed toe shoes.
I think there's a fingertip rule, right?
Yes, fingertip rules for shorts.
And
Closed toe shoes, closed back shoes for when we're on sites. I would recommend flip-flops for showers and stuff like that. We won't know our housing situation till like, what, 3 days before?
Yeah, it'll be right.
1 year, like when we were at Liberty, we had private bathrooms. Last time we were there, we had shared bathrooms. So we won't have any of those kind of details until like just before. And you're gonna wanna pack bedding, sleeping bag or sheets, depending on what your comfort level is.
We'll talk about
And
I'll talk about what to bring a little bit, but just
Gotcha.
not too much.
Yep. So it's all
Okay,
laid out
cool.
in the parent packet.
Yeah. So, and I know that some of that's harder. I know with longer legs and all that stuff, but we have understanding. But I mean, we just want to show respect for Fuge's rules and just love them. And then now the big one, the one that I've had to change every 5 minutes, the COVID rules. So because they've been changing things nonstop. A while ago, it was going to be mask all the time and social distance. Who's that? Just one second. Okay, sorry. That and social distance. Now it is kind of neither. So I say kind of for a reason. So first they lifted mask rules outside, and and now because the CDC thing, they have made across Fuge, they made the decision that you do not, it's recommended wearing masks. And keep in mind, even their statement on that says the science shows, without the vaccine, it is wise to wear a mask if you can. But that's going to be their decision, your decision to family, unless Philadelphia still has the mask rule in effect. So right now, they are abiding by anything or like a locality. Ms. Danielle?
I think I read yesterday, they're doing it by where you are.
Yes.
In Eastern specifically, I do think, as of whatever it was yesterday, masks, yes.
They still have an indoor
Everyone
mask
is
mandate.
packing at least 2 per day right now.
Yeah. So my guess is that by the time that Fuge happens, my guess is that Philadelphia will get rid of theirs as well. But if not, we'll be outside a lot of the time, and so we didn't mask that much, and I'm sorry for the inconvenience, and we will not require a mask on the vehicle ride, just because I don't feel like in the youth ministry we can require anything more than the state requires, if that makes sense. So, but any questions on the mask stuff? And I know it's an inconvenience. I know it's been a long time, but any questions with the mask stuff? All right, so, and then the other COVID rules is, I don't think they're gonna be changing this. This is a close contact, similar to like the schools, but it's not as strict as the schools. So if you are in close contact of somebody with COVID, if your child is, within 2 weeks of the start of the camp, basically. Or even if you find out somebody like say that, let's say for example, one of you guys went to COVID and then your family member back home went to Fuge, one family member back home found out they've COVID, then that would still be considered close contact, and they would actually isolate you at the camp until you get a negative test. And the same applies if you have COVID symptoms. If either of those are the case, you can continue in Fuge if you get a negative COVID test. And that's not just the better one. I know like the schools,
rapid antigen or the
it can be the rapid one. It can be any COVID negative test they allow. So anyway, and I know there's debates on that, but Ashley.
So Claire has allergies and she has sneezing and runny nose and watery eyes. Like, is that going to be an issue?
I think they say if she has 2 symptoms that are associated with COVID-19, and I think even the symptoms list has been evolving. So Daryl.
I mean, with the school system, what the new guidance that's come out as, if someone has seasonal allergies or asthma, that's a baseline, and if their symptoms were to change from their baseline, then that would be the concern for the COVID-like symptoms.
So they're following very similar to the schools. I've been getting an email from them literally every 2 weeks, like revised COVID guidelines again. They're trying their best, and I feel for them with that. So, but just keep that in mind. The worst comes the worst case. It might be, a kid may have to be picked up if there's a COVID close contact. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't anticipate that's going to happen, but this is just 2021 for you guys. So any questions on that? Miss Danielle?
I'm not sure what the latest was, because they do have different rules. If you are vaccinated and you're close contact, the rules are different. What are they expecting for that kind of proof? Are we expecting people to carry their cards on them? Are they gonna ask that to be like photocopied before we go with that kind of stuff?
Yeah, on the medical form, I believe they asked for it to be. So, but I don't think anybody that's going that is not an adult is yet. But so because it's newer for minors. But let us know. And again, if you want your child to follow stricter stuff, I fully understand and respect it. It's not saying you can't do that. It's just saying you don't have to, if that makes sense. So just be mindful of that. I will let you guys know if anything changes. Perhaps if things extend. I know it's an inconvenience, but any other COVID questions? I know COVID is a big part of this. So, all right. So Miss Danielle talked a little bit about what to bring, but I'll kind of go through again what to bring. And you guys might want to write this down. I'm recording this. I'm going to send this to all of you guys if you guys want to watch that back or whatever instead. So make sure to bring your towels, bring your own towels. While I say this, by the way, we're going to be pretty packed in vehicles. I'm going to have to figure out how, so it's not, don't bring 100,000 different items of clothes, just be be mindful of that, because, we're going to have limited space, just like last year, so 2 years ago rather. Clothes, toes, shoes, like Daniel said. Bring a water bottle, refillable water bottle, for the site, 'cause that's the easiest way to have water, and you'll need a lot of water. It's July in Philadelphia. And physical Bible is something important to bring. So not just a phone, but a physical Bible. And just like with youth group, we're going to probably bring some extra ones, but I encourage them to bring their own physical Bibles. A notepad and pen for taking notes during some of the Bible lessons. Toiletries, whatever that means for your child. Sunscreen, linens, some spending money. There's going to be opportunities, we might stop by Dunkin' Donut, for example, or get ice cream. We'll have opportunities to do a little bit of fun. So spending money for that. A pillow, and definitely mask. Even if like Fuge doesn't have mask rules, it's possible we end up going into a homeless shelter that still is a mask rule. And so I would even if you hear all of that's lifted, send at least one mask just to be mindful of that, if that makes sense. So any questions about what to bring? All right, so and what not to bring, by the way, so I want to tell you guys some not to bring, because I know this has been some stuff that we talked about before, but you guys are welcome to bring, like, if you have small board games or something fun that's interactive with other people, that's fine. Do not bring video game systems. I know even Nintendo Switch is, portable. Don't bring a video game system, please. Do not bring water guns. Apparently Fuge had some issues with that in the past. Not with us, but apparently that was a thing, especially at Eastern University, Philly. Which, yeah, oh well, so don't bring water guns. Or probably Nerf guns would probably apply to that same thing. Don't bring prank stuff. That should go without saying, but don't bring anything for pranks. So then I want to go through drop off and pick up. So you guys are going that drop off that Monday. It's Monday through Saturday camp, and drop off at 9:30 a.m. We're going to try to get going pretty quick, and we'll have lunch in Philadelphia. Lord willing, we're going to stop at a Philly cheesesteak restaurant. I say Lord willing because God's in control, but there's two big chains, and there's two big ones. They're not chains, but we went to one last time, and we're going to go to the other. I don't remember what it is, but we're going to go to one of the big Philly cheesesteak places for lunch to get a Philly cheesesteak. And then and then at 2 o'clock on Saturdays pickup time. So please be there right around there. Miss Danielle and I are going to be crazy tired, and yeah, so as will Miss Nicole. So if you didn't know, Miss Nicole's the other chaperone this. So please pick up at 2. Then by the way, a random thing with this, by the way, if any of you guys are a member of the church, I'm probably going to be making an announcement, but one inconvenience for us right now is actually we have a Shih Tzu Poodle mixed dog, and if anybody wants to watch a dog for a week, he's a very well-behaved dog. You can talk to me about that later, or whoever's watching this can. So he's a great dog, really. So, but he only bit off one of my fingers. So. Anyway, that's I know they're bad. Breakfast policy. I want to go through. One thing that you guys will find out when you get to Fuge, teens, is that they're very clear that you don't have to be at breakfast, and that's an individual decision. We are going to require it. So we want to kind of use that time to kind of come together, as well, so we don't have to hunt people down that have slept in or anything like that. It's just easier for everybody to get to breakfast. So I think when we get closer, they'll send an exact schedule, which will have breakfast times, and we'll make sure everybody gets up. But whatever breakfast time is, you will go to breakfast with us. So we want you guys to have a big full breakfast. There's plenty of food, some good food there. So right, good food for breakfast especially. It's hard to mess up breakfast. I mean, bacon is delightful, right? So all right. Another thing I want to encourage specifically to teens is I strongly want to encourage you guys to spend time with teens that you don't normally hang out with. And including, actually, there's one of the teens coming this year is a teen that, there's a teen that doesn't come to youth group every Wednesday that's coming. There's a teen that lives in Texas that is coming from Texas to go to Fuge. And, I encourage you strongly to use this as an opportunity to really hang out with people you wouldn't, and to get to grow in those relationships based upon the Lord. So really stretch yourselves. It'll be a great time. I really think so. Cell phone policy. So I want to go through that. We were a lot laxer on Fuge from Home cell phone policy. they are pretty strict on cell phone policies. And you're allowed to have your cell phones on you, but you are not allowed to like take it out during, you know, a Bible lesson. You are strictly not allowed, at these homeless shelters, like, you know, there's a lot of safety. Don't take it out. If you guys need to reach out to your parents, you know, if you guys, for legitimate reason, just approach any of the adult volunteers. If you guys are respectful with it, then you guys will be allowed to keep it on you. Otherwise, if we have issues, you know, me, Miss Danielle, or Miss Nicole might take away for a time. So, and you know, we can be, the 3 adult volunteers will have their phones on us the whole time. So if you guys have any questions or any concerns, you guys can reach out. But just please be mindful of the cell phone. If you're in your room at the end of the night, it's your own decision. I know last year, 2 years ago, one parent asked me to take a teen's phone overnight specifically. They approached me about it. We're happy to do anything like that. But you know, when they're in their room, it's whatever they want to do, whatever you want them to do rather. So any questions about anything I've gone through right now? It's weird to me because, you know, and I'm younger than a lot of you guys, but parents, but you know, when I was a teen, all we could do was play Snake on our phone. Remember Snake on those phones and the flip phones? So this would be less necessary. All right, I really want to encourage that, you know, when we are, that serving is going to be a significant part of what we do. Fuge is very different because it's kind of a retreat camp, but it's also a missions trip. And so we're going to be mostly be in 2 homeless shelters. We're waiting final confirmation, but it'll probably be the 2 homeless shelters we were in 2 years ago, which they have volunteers. It's extremely safe. I mean, it's really as safe as it can be. They're both actually in the heart of Philly, but when that I really see that as the main focus of what we're there for. And so I just really try to put as much effort into, make sure you're getting enough rest for your time of serving, to be able to really commit to that, teens, and just be a blessing to them, to people that don't have as much as you do, and you know, and don't be condescending. Actually, this is one thing we've had trouble with before. You know, I just make sure that, you know, the reality is that it's not just even there by the grace of God go I, but in a lot of ways, sometimes those who have less than you have blessings that you don't have, you know. And but we have an opportunity that we've been given time, we've been given resources to serve, and just serve and love them as if they were your brother and sister, because some of them are your brother and sister in the Lord, and we hope others of them do. Next point, I just want to say for the teens that are going, as well as for parents, with these kind of trips, I know that like we can make a lot. These trips are great and important. I say this is the most important event on the youth group calendar of all the youth group events. That being said, you know, I think sometimes we can get on these kind of things, kind of a retreat high, and see this as like growth is like getting that high, but then you don't really follow through. Just realize a lot of that high is not going to stay there unless you are diligent about following a lot of the Bible study methods, about the efforts of growing in discipleship on your own. So use this kind of mountaintop as an opportunity to push yourself forward, because real Christian growth, what Christians have called sanctification, is progressive. It's not a big jump and then down. It's, you know, it's real Christian growth. I like to tell people it's like a stock. A healthy stock is going to dive up and down, but over a long time, that stock is going upwards, even if it dived down a little bit yesterday or the day before. Just remember that about these kind of things. Don't get too emotionally focused on kind of the moment, but realize that God's going to work through what you learn over a long time. Does that make sense? All right. Another thing to keep aware of for Fuge this year, man, that is loud, is no worries.
It's the rain. It's the rain.
Okay. So Mega Relay. Does anybody who's been to Mega Relay want to explain what Mega Relay is? I'll let a teen do that.
Well, I'll be happy to explain it.
It's a giant relay that's it's a lot of fun. They set up a bunch of different obstacles and team, and you're like going back and forth different ways.
I had to eat a big banana.
That's clear. Sign me up.
No, there was baby
Say no more.
I got out of the baby food, yeah. So.
Let's go make a relay.
And so they do that themed every year, and I think they give some extra points or something based upon that. So they have different competitions, and the theme this year, what they want you guys to do is dress in your favorite sports, that favorite sports team. So I hope that we'll pray for anybody who's the Cowboys or the Patriots. So,
Yeah.
but no, none of that. So, but the correct answer is the Orioles or the Ravens for that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
it is not the New York Giants. So bring your favorite sports team stuff. If not, maybe I'll find an extra Orioles shirt for you guys, for your team. So, what are you guys' favorite sports teams among the teams?
Ravens.
Ravens. Okay. Jack, what's yours again? See, I thought it was Seahawks. Yeah. So your brother likes the Seahawks as well, right?
Now he likes
Falcons,
the
that's right.
because of Lions.
Okay. Yeah, that's right. So, Ashlyn, what are you gonna be repping this year? You don't know? Okay. All right. So, and the last thing I need to kind of go through is one thing I'll be emailing parents. I'll write up to is there's going to be a parent Bible lesson for parents to be working on that kind of goes along with what the lessons are for your teens. I don't have it yet. They have not sent that out, but I will send it out as soon as I have it. And I want to strongly encourage you to follow along with what your teens are learning. I think it might be a book of the Bible this year, but so that you guys can be benefiting from that as well and having good discussions based upon what your teen has learned and you've learned. Because I think that's the great way we can connect home and youth group discipleship, right? So, any questions? We actually got done pretty quickly with what I had. Any questions on Fuge at all? Does anybody have a question about how we can destroy the Giants jersey that might be sent?
So what type of job will the kids be working on?
So yeah, so we are waiting for final confirmation, but they said probably it will be identical to what we did 2 years ago. So 2 years ago we went to 2 different homeless shelters, and we one of them we did a lot of yard work there and stuff, and just whatever they needed at the moment. And the other one we actually played with some kids and played some games with them to entertain them while their parents were able to give their parents a break, right? So and stuff like that. What are some other things? Do you remember that?
Yeah, cleaning,
yeah, there's a lot of cleaning.
Work, sometimes just sitting and interacting with people, maybe playing a board game with them. It varies.
They really appreciate it, so I'll tell you that. It really means a lot to them. And I even got an opportunity to share the gospel with a guy in one of the shelters 2 years ago. So, and perhaps, I want to encourage teens to be careful about conversations with, adult strangers, but you can still serve and bless the kids. And you can perhaps explain the gospel to some of the kids, because one of the shelters has a lot of kids usually. So it'll be a really good time. So.
We have to follow whatever the shelter's rules.
Correct, that is true. So.
One of them was more lax than the other. One was if you get asked, you can
Yes.
engage. Another one was outright, you can just go for it and shake off.
Correct, that's right. Well, they'll explain it when we get to the sites, but they're really great sites, and they're really they've worked with them a long time. So, any other questions? Oh, if you weren't aware, the sleeping, we're actually staying at Eastern University, and so that's where we'll be sleeping at nights and everything, and where the camp will be. So, but
While you're at the shelters, supervision for the kids, what does that look like?
So they have at least one employee at Fuge that goes with us. They make sure to not break us apart and beyond what they can have at 2 adult usually. So one of them, there's a more open area, and so there was one time where one of the shelters the people can't leave basically, and so there's an outdoor area kind of in the entrance, but nobody can get to it apart from the students. And then there wouldn't always be one student might be working on cutting hedges, but nobody from the shelter could access them at that point, if that makes sense. So but they keep it very, very safe, and they have they usually have at least an employee of the shelter will hang out with us as well. I don't think they require that, but they have at least one employee of Fuge. Sometimes they'll have 2, and again there will be 3. The 3 of us, Miss Danielle, that myself, and Miss Nicole, and I think we'll be able to. I'm a stickler about 2 adult rules. You guys know, so I'm a bit of a Nazi about it. So, but it's worth being a stickler about, so.
How many kids are going?
Question. So we have 5 boys and we have 7 girls right now, so. 12 teens and 3 adults, so. Any other questions? So full cars, like I said.
Compact.
Yeah, we're gonna get those big 8-passenger SUVs, so. Any other questions? Okay, all right, speak.
I would recommend having a personal small backpack or something for walking around, Bible, hand sanitizer, water bottle. It just makes it easier because lots of times as we're either pulling out of chapel or pulling away from the dining room, it's, we see the random stuff. So you have like a small bag or something, like the string things. That just makes it easier because the dorms are far away from the chapel and the cafeteria.
Well, feel free to contact me anytime about it with any questions.